Hey, the last general laws meeting prior to crossover is getting ready to start. Get everyone to take their seats in the committee. If we could open the roll, please, for attendance. I'm sorry. Not taking any. Okay, we have a quorum. All right, and so in keeping with the rest of the meetings, I do not anticipate testimony on any of the bills. We do have a couple with amendments, and depending on the complexity of those, it's possible we could hear a little bit of testimony, but we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. So the first report we have is from Subcommittee Number 2, Chairman Wampler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got some amendments and substitutes on these bills, but I'll start out with House Bill 1635. This is Delegate Bulava's bill that speaks to the right of a tenant now under this bill to terminate a rental agreement at the beginning of a tenancy within the first 7 days if they find material noncompliance when they show up to the unit, or if they find a variety of situations that are described in the bill. We have amended the bill in subcommittee to provide for the prevailing party to receive attorney's fees, but I understand there are a few additional line amendments that will need to come in. But first, Mr. Chairman, I guess I would move the subcommittee substitute at this time.
Okay, so we're going to adopt that substitute, then there's going to be an amendment to the substitute.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
And maybe council can weigh in. I think that we have an entirely new substitute, so I think we would want to reject the subcommittee substitute.
Right.
I would move that we reject the subcommittee substitute.
Second. All right, there's a motion and a second to reject the subcommittee substitute. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, the subcommittee substitute is rejected. So,
Mr. Chair, I would now move the full committee substitute.
all right, there's a motion and a second to adopt the full committee substitute. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, and the new substitute's before us.
Delegate Bulava, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what the substitute does is keeps all the same language, except it amends 2 lines towards, let's see, I think it's in line 22. The 7th is going to become the 15th business day. And then another section, it also changes 7 to 15. Is that correct, Delegate Bulava?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And so those were kind of the latest round of changes based on some concerns expressed by Chairman Leftwich. There were a couple other things that got modified that I believe are in there. So it makes sure that you can't get your money back if you're still living in the unit. And so I think that was an easy one. And it also makes sure that it removed some language that a court could go ahead and award damages to the tenant just based on the landlord not responding in a timely manner for their an assertion. Let me go ahead and back up on that. So removes language that could have been read as requiring the court to find for the tenant merely because the landlord failed to provide notice. So the tenant still has to go ahead and show that the unit was uninhabitable if they go ahead and take it to court. So,
And I believe that the prevailing party would be entitled to reasonable
Mr. Chairman,
fees
correct.
and costs.
Yes, it would be the prevailing party.
Okay, all right. Is that online? Okay, all right. Does any member need a moment or two to digest? Okay, all right. So,
Mr. Chair, I can present the next bill in the block
all right.
while that loads.
Well, those are contested. So, do you have any uncontested bills in the block? I don't believe you do. So,
No, I do not. Not in this one.
We'll go at ease for just a few minutes. Sorry about this, folks. come back. And I believe we've adopted the full committee substitute, but there may be an amendment.
Mr. Chair, I have an amendment to the substitute.
Okay, all right.
On line 26. And council may, I'm hungry. The intent on line 26 would be a tenant that has not taken possession or has vacated the dwelling unit may file an action in a court of competent jurisdiction. On line 26, a tenant who has not taken possession or has vacated the dwelling unit may file and then the rest of it.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think it's line 27, so it's the beginning of section C, correct?
On mine, it's line 26 on LIS.
Oh, okay, never mind. I got a paper version.
I'm reading off of LIS, the version 2023 at 23520 is the draft that's in here. And it's line 26, section C.
Second.
Council, does that make sense? You're good? Okay.
Okay.
That's
All
my motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and I heard a second. All those in favor of adopting?
Mr. Chair, could you please repeat that, what Delegate Coiner said?
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to repeat it.
Yeah, yes. Not the patron of the amendment.
A tenant who has not taken possession or has vacated the dwelling unit may, and then the rest of the line, may file an action in a court of competent jurisdiction.
A question, is that an or an and?
Or,
So if they've filed the notice or vacated, or no, if they've.
if they never, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
all right, not taken possession or vacated.
Correct.
Okay, all right,
So it
gotcha.
should encompass, Mr. Chair, if someone shows up and sees it's uninhabitable and never takes possession, or someone who shows up, lives in it a day or two and discovers it's not, it would, and then
Okay,
vacates
all
and
right.
leaves.
Okay, all right. So all members in favor of the Coiner amendment, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. That amendment's before us, and the full committee substitute of 15 days is already included, or is that another amendment we have to
Nope,
adopt?
that's already included.
Okay, right. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So has everyone had a chance to read over the substitute online and feel comfortable proceeding with this bill?
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Delegate Bullock.
if I could, it seemed like such a simple bill when I introduced it. But I do want to just say thank you so much to all the different stakeholders and members of the subcommittee, Chairman Wampler and Chair Leftwich and Delegate Coiner for helping to get this this far. So anyways, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Delegate Chairman Wampler.
this bill reported 7-1 from subcommittee, and so I would move that this bill report as substituted and amended.
All right. There's a motion second to that. All those members wishing to vote on this measure, please do so on the board. Okay, House Bill 1635 as substituted and amended, as reported on a vote of 22-0. Chairman Wampler.
All right, Mr. Chairman, next we have House Bill 2082. This is Delegate Munden King's bill that deals with a situation where she wanted to provide criminal background checks for any employees that have access to keys in certain tenant situations in Virginia. We've been working with the patron of the bill, and I believe she has additional amendments or a substitute for the full committee.
Were there any amendments? There were no amendments in the subcommittee, correct?
That's correct,
Okay,
Mr.
all
Chair.
right. So if the clerk could report either a substitute or those amendments. And if we get patron, maybe come up to the podium in case we need help.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Chair. They are actually line amendments, and they should be available online. On line 17, after owns, strike Romanet 1. On line 17, after then, strike 4, insert 200. On line 17, after units, insert that are attached to the same piece of real property. On line 17, after Commonwealth, strike the remainder of line 17, all of line 18, and through Commonwealth on line 19.
Okay, and so just for background, this bill is intended to require landlords to have a policy for anyone who had access to keys to units and then run a criminal background check on them. And as I understand that the purpose of the amendment is to narrow it to apply to your larger landlords. So if anything you want to add to that?
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the committee. So those amendments that the clerk so generously read will read any landlord who owns more than 200 rental dwelling units in the Commonwealth.
Okay.
So this is for just those large apartment complexes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would add additionally, the line amendments also say that those 200 units are attached to the same piece of real property. So this is really getting at your larger, multiple unit apartment buildings and larger buildings.
Yeah, I believe that was included in Ms. Ben's. Is that correct? That's what you, okay, all right, great. All right, so I can get a motion to adopt those amendments?
So
There's a motion, a second to adopt the amendments reported by council. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Those amendments are before us. Has everyone on the committee had a chance to review the bill and the amendments, and they're comfortable proceeding?
Mr. Chair, that bill reported from subcommittee on a 6-2 vote, and I would move it reporting as amended from full.
All right, there's a motion, a second to report the bill as amended. All members, please cast your vote on the board. All right, that bill is amended. Reports on a vote of 20. I'm sorry. All right. House Bill 2082 as amended. Reports
Thank you.
22 to nothing. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Oh, you're
Mr. Chair and members.
welcome. Chairman Wampler.
Mr. Chair, that completes the first part of the subcommittee report. I'll be
Okay.
back in a little bit.
All right, thank you. Stay tuned. Subcommittee 3, Chairwoman Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing we'll take care of, there were two bills that were presented, and they were, with the patrons asked that they be stricken from the docket. It's House Bill 2458, Delegate Bagby, and House Bill 2484, Delegate Subramanian. And they both, the subcommittee recommends striking on an 8-0 vote on both of them, and I so move.
Okay, there's a motion, a second to strike House Bill 2458 and House Bill 2484. Members, please cast your vote. Okay, those bills are struck from the docket on a vote of 22 to nothing. All right. All right.
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to do these one by one, or do you want me to do them in a block?
Uncontested
Yes.
block would be fine.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
That's one. Yes.
I requested House Bill 1987 and 2125 be taken out of the block, please.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so we'll take up these three bills separately then.
Okay. So the first bill is House Bill 1730, Delegate Bennett Parker's bill. Delegate Bennett Parker's bill prohibits the Board of Directors of ABC from suspending or revoking a license on the basis of a licensee employing a person who was convicted in any court of a felony or crime involving moral turpitude prior to being employed by the licensee. The subcommittee recommended reporting on an 8-0 vote, a substitute, and I so move.
Okay.
Second to substitute.
All right, there's a motion and second to adopt the committee substitute. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the substitute's before us. Were there any amendments made to that substitute?
Yes, there was one amendment to the substitute. Actually, do you want to report that?
Mr. Chairman, it was just the change of an or to an and it's actually included in the substitute as
okay.
reported
All right,
online.
Okay, so we're in a posture, I think, for a motion.
All right. The subcommittee recommend reporting the substitute on an 8-0 vote, and I so move.
All right, there's a motion, a second to adopt the committee substitute on House Bill 1730. All members, please cast your vote. Okay. That bill reports as substituted on a vote of 22-0. Next up.
Okay, it's House Bill 1987, Delegate Kresek's bill. It authorized VDAX to issue a temporary permit to certain qualified organizations, authorizing such organizations to sell instant bingo, network bingo, pool tabs, or steel cards upon premises located anywhere in the Commonwealth during a convention, conference, or related event held by the organization up to 4 times a year, as designated in the temporary permit. Current law limits the sale of such games by a qualified organization to premises that are owned or exclusively and entirely leased by such organization, or premises leased by the organization from any social organization for the purpose of selling such games. And the subcommittee recommended reporting a substitute, so I guess we need to move the substitute.
All right, there's a motion, second to adopt the substitute on House Bill 1987. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Substitute's before us.
And the subcommittee recommended reporting the substitute on an 8-0 vote.
All right, we have a motion, a second to adopt House Bill 1987 as substituted. All members, please cast your vote.
Please don't read all of that.
I'm not.
Okay, House Bill 1987 is reported on a vote of 19-3 as substituted. All right.
House
next up.
Bill 2125, Delegate Wilt. And what Delegate Wilt's bill did was any charitable organization that realizes a gross receipts of $40,000 or less from all their charitable gaming and other than raffles conducted a total of no more than 7 days per calendar year to register with VDAX on a form prescribed by the department. Right now, I guess it's a very, very lengthy process, and this form just condenses it down so it limits the amount of information if you're under $40,000 a year or less. And there was a substitute, so I moved the substitute.
Second.
All right, there's a motion, a second to adopt the substitute on House Bill 2125. All members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Subcommittee recommended reporting the substitute on an 8-0 vote, and I so move.
Second.
All right, there's a motion, a second to report House Bill 2125. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 2125 reports on a vote of 19-2 with one abstention. All right, moving on to the contested docket.
All right, and our last bill is House Bill 2452, Delegate Brewer. It had to do with Texan Hold'em poker tournaments. There were some amendments to the bill, so I would move the amendments.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of adopting the amendments on House Bill 2452, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
All right, I'm going to pull these up.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to speak to the bill at the appropriate time.
Okay, I was looking at the wrong screen. Delegate Kresek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering if we could get VDAX to the podium. There's a couple things in here that have been brought to my attention that I'm concerned about.
Do we have a representative from VDAX in the audience? Yeah. Mr. Menifee, welcome.
So,
Delegate Kresek.
Mr. Chairman, question for VDAX is two-part question. What if a veterans charity were to be open today? Would it be able to take advantage of this cash poker opportunity?
It depends on what they're specifically are doing. This bill requires them to have been conducting bingo between July 1st, 2019 to December 31st of 2022. So if a VFW post, American Legion, Eagles, Elks were a new lodge, they couldn't do that because they were not in that time frame. Certainly if there was a VFW post, again, American Legion, whatnot, that was conducting electronic gaming, and that's all they did and wanted to do poker, the provisions in lines 261 through 262 would prevent them from being able to get a permit. for Texas Hold'em.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. So to me, that means that this is tailored to a certain subset of gaming, of folks that could take advantage of this, and it's really not fair across the board for all of the fraternals. The second question I have, Mr. Chairman, is what I notice at the very end there's an enactment clause in there that says that the permits would have to be issued even before the regulatory process can start. And as you all know, as in subcommittee, I talked about the fact that what this General Assembly has done over in the past few years is to provide tournament poker games, non-cash tournament poker opportunities for the fraternals and the VFWs and for all the charitable organizations that fall into the category. And that process is just now being promulgated. Those regulations, as of a couple days ago, went to the governor's office, and then they'll be at the next, after he's gone through it, his administration's gone through it, the next stage is the 30-day, and then sometime in the spring, those regulations will be promulgated. So my point was that this is a little bit early to be going to a brand new type of a poker when the first one that we've already approved a few years ago hasn't even started yet. But I'm concerned that this bill will speed the process up. Could you just explain what that does? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
There was a question posed to Mr. Menifee. Let's have him answer that question first, and then I'll recognize you, Chairman Brewer.
Mr. Chairman, I think the question related to the enactment clauses in the bill. And certainly on lines 424, it requires that VDACs be able to promulgate regulations by September 15th of 2023. But on lines 430 through 432 requires us to have the application readily available by July 15th of 2023. Per the code under 18.2-3425 in lines 432, it does require us to promulgate, act on completed applications in 45 days.
Okay. All right. Does that respond to your question, Delegate Krizik?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. I recognize Delegate Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I would ask the delegate, are you offering a line amendment to advance that date, maybe to say to an October 1st? Is that what you're suggesting, maybe?
Well, actually, Mr. Chairman, to respond to the delegate.
Yes.
What I would offer is to take out the enactment clause and let it go through the normal process, the regulatory process, just like we did with the poker, the tournament poker, and rather than speed this thing up, because I don't see any reason to speed it up. I think the process is a good one, and I would take out those last two enactment clauses. And if you would do that, that would be a friendly amendment, and I would support the bill if that was.
Delegate Brewer.
I would support October 1, but I wouldn't take the last statement as a friendly amendment. But I would agree with October 1, so we could allow VDACs to be able to get up to speed past July 15th.
Okay. All right. So I haven't heard a motion yet on any amendments. Anybody intend to make a motion? Okay. All right. So without any amendments to the bills before us, I believe there was a motion to report. Was there a second? I don't recall. All right. There's a motion and a second to report the bill as reported by the subcommittee. All right. All minds clear? Please cast your vote. All right. All right. House Bill 2452 reports on a vote of 12 to 10. Okay. Does that conclude your report for now?
That concludes my report.
Okay. Okay. Chairman Campbell, Subcommittee 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First order of business, we had a request from Delegate Simons to strike our House Bill 2242. The subcommittee recommended striking the same 8-0, and I would so move.
All right, there's a motion second to strike House Bill 2242. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 2242 is struck by a vote of 22-0. Chairman Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had 9 bills report either in a contested or uncontested fashion from the subcommittee as reflected on the published docket. I would move all the amendments and substitutes with respect to the same.
Okay. Second. There's a motion second to adopt all substitutes on Subcommittee 4's contested and uncontested docket. All members say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Chairman Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, with respect to the uncontested docket, we had 4 bills that reported. They would be House Bill 2122 from Delegate Watts dealing with training for appointed school boards under the Virginia Conflicts of Interest and Ethics Advisory Council. House Bill 2223 from Delegate Batten dealing with the filing of Statement of Economic Interests by boards of directors of the Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority. House Bill 2450 from myself dealing with construction management at-risk contracts. And House Bill 2500 from Delegate Wiley dealing with the payment of subcontractors under the Virginia Public Procurement Act. The subcommittee recommended reporting all those bills by unanimous fashion, and I would so move.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second to report House Bill 2122, 2223, 2450, and 2500 in a block. All members wishing to cast their vote on this measure, please do so on the board. Okay. The block of 4 bills reports on a vote of 22-0. Chairman Campbell, your contested docket, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First bill on the contested docket was House Bill 1898 from Delegate McGuire, which prohibited public bodies from entering into contracts in excess of $100,000 with any contractor that had more than an average of 10 employees for the previous 12 months, and that was in a boycott of Israel. Subcommittee recommended reporting the same with a substitute by a 5-3 margin, and I would so move.
I'll move so.
We adopted all those in a block.
We've all not uncontested.
Yes. Mhm. All right, so there's a motion, a second to report the committee substitute on House Bill 1898. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 1898 as substituted is reported on a vote of 12-9. Okay. Chairman Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1911 from Delegate Batten would prohibit officers and employees of state and local governments and nonprofit private institutions of higher education from receiving gifts with a value exceeding $100 from certain enumerated countries as set forth in the bill. Subcommittee recommended reporting with a substitute 5-3, and I would so move.
Second.
All right, there's a motion, a second to report House Bill 1911 as substituted. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 1911 as substituted is reported on a vote of 14-7 with one abstention. Chairman Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next is House Bill 1953 from Delegate Greenhall. This created an exemption from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act for discussion, consideration, or decisions related to home instruction of children. unless it's objected to by a parent or guardian in an open meeting. Subcommittee recommended reporting 5-3, and I would so move.
Second. All right, there's a motion, a second, to report House Bill 1953. All members, please cast your vote. All right, House Bill 1953 reports on a vote of 12-10. All right, Chairman Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had House Bill 2113 from Delegate Bulova, which required the governing boards of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership Authority, the Virginia Tourism Authority, and the Commonwealth of Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority to adopt policies for the procurement of goods and services by the respective authority. The bill would require the policies to incorporate certain provisions of the Virginia Public Procurement Act under current law. Currently, those authorities are exempt from the VPPA. The bill would require the authorities to submit such policies every 5 years to the governor, the Department of General Services, and the chairs of the Senate Committee on General Laws and Technology and the House Committee on General Laws and Technology beginning November 1, 2024. Subcommittee recommended reporting 7-1, and I would so move.
Second. All right, there's a motion, a second, to report House Bill 2113. Delegate Van Valkenburg, I see you're on, or I'm sorry. Yell at me. Okay, I'm sorry. You can get on a roll here. Okay, so House Bill 2113 is before us. It's been a motion and a second to report. All members, please cast your vote on the board. Okay. House Bill 2113 reports on a vote of 22-0. One more. Delegate Campbell, Chairman Campbell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2498 from Delegate Corey provided that the Virginia Freedom of Information Advisory Council shall provide FOIA training for members of any boards of any governing members of any boards governing any authority established pursuant to the Park Authorities Act. The subcommittee recommended reporting by a vote of 6-2, and I would so move.
Hey, there's a, get a second? I don't hear a second. All right, there's a motion, a second, to report House Bill 2498. All members, please cast your vote. All right, House Bill 2498 reports 22-0. Does that conclude your report, Chairman Campbell?
That would conclude my report, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Chairman Brewer, Subcommittee 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We only had one bill report of Subcommittee number 5. That's House Bill 1881 from Delegate Freitas, which actually there is a substitute we need to adopt.
Second. All right, there's a motion, a second, to adopt the substitute House Bill 1881. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
It was recommended by the subcommittee to report House Bill 1881 as substituted by vote of 6-2, and I so move.
Yes. All right, so can we get a second first? Second. Second. All right, Delegate Van Valkenburg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess, and I can't see the full substitute on here, so maybe this is moot and Delegate Brewer can tell me. But I'm wondering how this bill interfaces with what is on the books or not on the books, I guess more importantly, in terms of a legal market, because the bill is about making sure that we're not creating monopolies.
Mr. Chair.
Chairman Brewer.
I don't know if you can see the substitute. So they struck the language in regards to marijuana, and it's only just related to hemp now as it sits.
Industrial hemp, to be exact, yeah. All right, okay. Okay, there's a motion before the body. I see no other member wishing to comment on the bill. All right. All members wishing to cast a vote on House Bill 1881, please do so. All right. House Bill 1881 reports on a vote of 16-6. That concludes your report, Chair Brewer.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so All right, our next block of reports are from today, and the first will be from Subcommittee 1, Chairman Fowler.
All righty, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the first section, we have bills that Chairman wanted stricken from the docket, and we have one bill, House Bill 829 by Delegate Torian, and the subcommittee recommended striking by a vote of 8-0, and I so move.
All right, there's a motion, a second to strike House Bill 1829, and just for the record, it was not upon my request. It was upon the chairman, the patron's request.
That's right.
All right, all members wishing to vote on this measure, please do so. All right, House Bill 1829 is struck at the request of the patron on a vote of 22-0. Chairman Fowler.
Okay, let me see. First up, Mr. Chairman's Delegate March is House Bill 1401. This is the Community Policing Act, which repealed the Community Policing Act that under current law prohibits law enforcement officers, state police officers from engaging in bias-based profiling in the performance of their official duties. Mr. Chairman, it was the recommendation to report and refer this bill to appropriations by a vote of 5-0, and I so move.
Second.
All right, there's a motion, second, and we have one. Delegate Price, you wish to speak to the measure?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood what the report actually does. The reason why we have actual data to prove that black and brown people are being pulled over at disparate rates, in addition to that, the rate of those that are pulled over, there is proof that black and brown people are more likely to be cited, is because of the website that this would be repealing. And so I just, in the national conversation that we are having right now about what a traffic stop can mean to a black or brown person, I just think not only is this ill-timed, that this is not the best thing for the Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak to the measure? All right, there's a motion, a second, to report and refer House Bill 1401 to the Committee on Appropriations. All members, please cast your vote. Okay. Have all members who wish to cast their vote done so? Okay. All right. That bill fails to report on a vote of 9-12. 9 yea, 12 nay. 9 yea, 12 nay. All right. Okay. All right. Chairman Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next up is my bill, House Bill 1521. This has to deal with the kratom, which we've heard a lot about. This bill provides that no person that sells, prepares, manufactures, distributes, or maintains kratom products as defined in the bill or advertises, represents, or holds itself out as selling, preparing, manufacturing, distributing, or maintaining kratom products shall prepare, distribute, sell, or expose for sale any kratom product that includes or is packed with a substance that is not kratom and that affects the quality and strength of the kratom product, or that contains any poisonous or otherwise deleterious ingredient. Any kratom product that contains a level as described in the bill that is greater than 2% of the overall alkaloid composition of the product, or any synthetic alkaloids or other synthetically derived components of the kratom plant is not recommended for use in their serving site. Anyway, Delegate Kratom, Delegate Kratom.
It's been a long day, Mr.
We need a
Chairman.
recount on that.
House Bill 1521, Mr. Chairman, it was recommended that the bill be reported by a vote of 5-1, and I so move.
All right. So there's a substitute. I think we need to adopt first. Chairman Fowler.
We have to move the substitute, which I thought we had done.
Okay. All right. There's a motion and a second to adopt the substitute on House Bill 1521. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And Delegate Fowler, I believe I understood you to make a motion to report the substitute.
The
but I did
committee
not hear a second.
recommended reporting by a vote of 5-1.
All right. There's a motion and a
Mr.
second to
Chair.
report the substitute, and we have a member that wishes to speak to it, Delegate Rome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you also to the subcommittee chair as well, because I know he doesn't have any ill intent with the bill, as he's trying to make sure that basically, considering that the market is almost entirely unregulated in Virginia right now, that he's trying to put some guardrails on it. There was a question, though, that came up in subcommittee that was directed to one of the witnesses regarding the FDA on it that we did not get a full answer from. And so I just want to pull this up from the FDA from April of last year, where it said the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers not to use Mitigania speciosa, commonly known as kratom. And they said the FDA is concerned that kratom, which affects the same opioid brain receptors as morphine, appears to have properties that expose users to the risk of addiction, abuse, and dependence. There are no FDA-approved uses for kratom, and the agency has received concerning reports about the safety of kratom. FDA is actively evaluating all available scientific information on this issue and continues to warn consumers not to use any products labeled as containing the substance, and it kind of goes on for a bit. So I just want to put that into the public record because that was not thoroughly addressed in the subcommittee hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Delegate Rome. Any other members wish to speak to the motion? Okay. All right. So before I call for the vote, that comment goes to, I think, the heart of the bill. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Carlin if you'd like to respond.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The FDA has not chosen to regulate kratom. They are in the process, as was just read, of evaluating. They've made no final determination. It's, you know, there's a history of going back a few years where there were some people at FDA, I think, that were not in favor of kratom. There was some evaluation done at the time. It was decided not to take action against kratom in a negative way. However, the industry has been very concerned about adulterated kratom products that have other things in them. And so the industry has taken upon itself to say, we need to have an industry standard in the law so that if anyone sells, manufactures, or sells this product outside the industry standard, that there is a penalty that is applied to them. And that's what, by putting this in the Virginia Consumer Protection Act, we're allowing that penalty to take place. So I can't really speak much more than what was read about FDA, but I can say that this product's been used for generations in Asia. There are over 8 million people using it in the United States today.
That goes beyond, I think, the comments that Delegate Rome made. So, thank you. All right, we have a couple members of the committee that wish to speak to the motion. Delegate Adams first, and then Delegate Rome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've read enough about this kratom and to understand the implications, but I also feel like the FDA is in the process of evaluating. I don't think an industry should self-regulate when it has this many components to it and so many potential issues. And so I feel like the best action at this time is either as a state, we study this in a work group and sort of figure out what those regulations would look like and what we're concerned about, or we do nothing and let the FDA give us some guidance. But I am not comfortable with the language in this bill, so that is my statement.
Okay. Delegate Rome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, is there anyone from the administration who might be able to speak to this about whether we can adopt Delegate Adams' idea in terms of referring to for study or taking basically having some sort of examination as we're waiting for an FDA determination one way or the other.
Is there anyone from the administration here that wishes to address it? I don't see any takers. Okay.
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Chair.
I see no further members in the queue that wish to comment on the motion. We have a motion before us to report the bill as substituted. All right. All minds clear. Members, please cast your vote. Okay, that motion fails by a vote of 14-7, 14 voting no. All right. Mr. Delegate Moorfield, did you wish to have your?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Were you a no? So
No, I didn't.
no vote. Okay. All right.
No, just did not.
Did not. Okay. So 14-7. Okay. Chairman Fowler.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the next bill up is House Bill 1765, Delegate Carr. And this bill expands the, excuse me, let me back up. We need to adopt a substitute.
All right, there's a motion, a second to adopt the substitute on House Bill 1765. All members in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, substitutes before us. Chairman Fowler.
All right, this bill expands the definition of a fire company to include local organizations of at least 20 individuals organized for the provision of rehabilitation and other support services for firefighters and similar fire safety personnel. And the current definition is limited to organizations of at least 20 individuals organized for the purpose of extinguishing fires. Mr. Chairman, as a recommendation of the subcommittee to report with a substitute by a vote of 7-1, and I so move.
All right, there's a motion, a second to report House Bill 1765 as substituted. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 1765 is substituted. Reports on a vote of 21-1. Chairman Fowler.
All right, next up is Delegate Bulliver's House Bill 2101, and Mr. Chairman, we need to adopt a substitute.
All right. There's a motion, a second to adopt the substitute on House Bill 2101. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Substitutes before us.
All right. Let me see. House Bill 2101 clarifies the Department of Wildlife Resources in promulgating regulations in all case decisions regarding endangered and threatened species must comply with the provisions of the Administration Process Act. Mr. Chairman, it was recommended to report the bill with the substitute by a vote of 8-0, and I so move.
I'll move substitute.
All right, there's a motion. I think we adopt the substitute. All right, there's a motion, a second to report House Bill 2101 as substituted. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 2101 reports as substituted on a vote of 22-0. Chairman Fowler.
All right, last up is Delegate Durant's House Bill 2461, and this bill requires all state agencies to report to the Secretary of Finance the total number of amount of fines, fees, and interest imposed on individuals, businesses, and nonprofit organizations, including any withdrawal, suspension, or cancellation of an individual's license or certification resulting from violations of the Commonwealth's COVID-19 practices, guidelines, rules, or operating procedures, and any state contracts that were not awarded as a result of noncompliance with the Commonwealth's COVID-19 guidelines. Let me see. Mr. Chairman, we need to adopt a substitute.
All right, there's a motion, a second to adopt a substitute on House Bill 2461. All those in favor say aye. Opposed. Substitutes before us.
All right, and Mr. Chairman, it was a recommendation of the subcommittee to report House Bill 2461 with the substitute by a vote of 5-3, and I so move.
All right, there's a motion and a second to report House Bill 2461 as substituted. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 2461 as substituted reports on a vote of 12-10.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Okay, we're coming back for full circle to Chairman Wampler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Subcommittee number 2 report from today. First up is House Bill 1805 from Delegate Bloxham. Adds to the Virginia Resources Authority scope relating to the production and preservation of low and moderate income housing. It also directs the Department of Housing and Community Development to assist the authority in determining how to allocate grants to local governments to achieve this purpose. This bill reported with the substitute, and I'd move the substitute at this time.
Second. There is a motion and a second to adopt the substitute on House Bill 1805. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, substitutes before us.
Mr. Chairman, that bill reported on an 8-0 vote, but I'll continue with the uncontested bills, and we can pass those in a block here in a second. So House Bill 1888 is Delegate Sullivan's bill, and it had amendments. I'd move those at this time.
All right, there's a motion and a second to adopt amendments on House Bill 1888. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right,
Okay,
amendments
House
before
Bill
us.
1888 provides that a seller must provide their written informed consent before a settlement agent can collect fees. The amendments just further elaborate on that, and that bill reported 8-0 with amendments. Additionally, in the uncontested block from subcommittee is House Bill 2098. House Bill 2098 is Delegate Bulova's bill, which allows Virginia homeowners associations to address repeat offenses by homeowners that are within the homeowners association. It used to be that the law was you could only restrict access to facilities if there was non-payment of rent, or non-payment of fees of a period greater than 60 days. The bill, as before this committee, would allow for restriction of access to certain facilities for additional violations, repeat violations, as stated in the bill. There is an amendment, and I believe there may be a substitute or further amendments in this committee, and I would ask Delegate Bulova to explain those.
Let's adopt the amendments that the subcommittee adopted.
I'd move the amendments from
All
subcommittee.
right, so motion and a second to adopt the subcommittee amendments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those amendments are before us, and I do believe there is a subsequent amendment to be offered by the patron.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And really, it was something that the chairman went ahead and caught. So the idea is to fix a loophole where you've got these perpetual violations, and there's no way to go ahead and hold a person accountable and fine them. And so, after you've already gone ahead and gotten notice, you've had a hearing, and then if you go ahead and do the violation again within a year, they can go ahead and take action on you. But we wanted to make sure that you got that notice, and so that's what this amendment does, is make sure that you're getting notice if it's a repeat violation before they take action.
Okay, could we get council to report the line amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and these line amendments are available on LIS. The subcommittee line amendments and these additional amendments are all in one document. The additional line amendments are on line 44, after action, insert after notice, but, and then on line 95, after action, insert after notice, but.
Okay, all right. I get a motion to adopt those amendments? All right. There's a motion and a second to adopt the line amendments as reported by council. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. So
Mr. Chair, that bill reported from subcommittee on an 8-0 vote, and so I would move House Bills 1805, 1888, 2098 together in a block.
Okay. All right. Anybody wish to speak to any of those? Take one out of the block? Okay. All right. Those three bills in the block as amended or substituted are before us. Please cast your vote. Okay, House Bills 1805, 1888, and 2098 as amended and substituted are reported on a vote of 22-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Continuing now to the contested bills, House Bill 23 12 is Delegate Hudd's bill, which further defines stop work orders in the code, in the statewide building code, and provides that if during an appeal from these violations in any stop work order, a locality may be liable to pay attorney's fees if the person who the violation is assessed against prevails in court. This reported on a 5-3 vote in subcommittee, and I would so move it report here.
All right, there's a motion, a second to report House Bill 2312, and a second. All members, please cast your vote. Yeah. Okay, House Bill 2312 reports on a vote of 12 to 10.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Finally, in in Subcommittee Number 2's report, we have House Bill 2441. This is Delegate Price's bill. She was trying to address the situation of mass evictions, particularly in her district. The language that passed out of subcommittee has been worked on, I understand, since subcommittee, and Delegate Price, I believe, has some amendments or a substitute for the committee here.
Okay, all righty. Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do have 2 line amendments. If council, well, either way, I can.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On line 80, after any, strike landlord and insert owner of multifamily premises. And on line 81, after period, insert in the same multifamily premises.
Okay. All right, there's a motion, second to adopt the amendments. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, the amendments are before us. Could you just kind of like summarize what the bill does?
Mr. Chairman, the issue that came up was that an entire housing complex in Newport News was given not given the option. They were put on 30-day month-to-month leases. Currently, with a month-to-month lease, you only need to give 30 days notice. What happened is 100 people ended up being given 30 days notice. And so the social services department, nonprofits, hotel owners all scrambled, and actually they had to be out of the premises this week. They were not able to handle 100 lease terminations at the same time. So I heard the response to the original bill was that it was too broad and that it potentially wasn't getting at the exact instances that I was aiming for. But with this language, a group of beautiful lawyers got with me, and this is what we're presenting to cover multiple types of situations that would get into this, but also to allow for the flexibility of month-to-month leases for the tenants that actually want to be in them. So that's what we're
Now, is this limited to a certain number of units?
Yes, this is for 20 or more, and it's 20 or more month-to-month tenancies that would be terminated.
All right. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for the patron? All right. I think we adopt the amendments, but we did not have a motion to report yet. All right. There's a motion, a second to report House Bill 2441 as amended. All members, please cast your vote. Okay, House Bill 2441 as amended reports on a vote of 21 to 1.
Mr. Chair, that completes Subcommittee Number 2's report.
Thank you, Chairman Wampler. I do not believe there's any other business to come before the committee this evening, so I entertain a motion to adjourn. There's a motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. We're adjourned.